A couple of weeks ago, I made a video going over some of the more unusual free sample libraries that are available with the Labs range of plugins. So in this video, I'm going to do a similar thing, but with the Decent Sampler. So the Decent Sampler, I've not seen too many people talk about, and I think it's a really amazing tool that you should definitely be using. So all that the Decent Sampler is a tool that's completely free, and it allows anyone to sample an instrument without any sort of coding background. And it's quite an easy thing to do. What that means is we've got a range of websites like Piano Book and decentsamples.com that are providing free virtual instruments, so pianos, guitars, atmospheric sounds, pad sounds, vocal stuff, all for free to download and use in your own music. And honestly, I've not seen that many people talk about it. A lot of the musicians that I follow on YouTube have never really mentioned it, so I thought I would break some of my favorite sounds down in this video, show you how to use it, and then make a beat with some of these sounds. So do let me know in the comments down below if you've heard of the Decent Sampler. I have mentioned it in some videos in the past, so I'm curious if anyone's tried it, anyone's downloaded it, and what are your favorite sounds for it if so. Or if you haven't heard of it, please do let me know in the comments down below as well. It'd be great to sort of grasp how many people are using this in the lo-fi community, because if there's a lot of people who are interested in this, I could potentially record my own guitars and my own pianos and make instruments out of them for people to use. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you think. So I'll just kick the video off by talking about where you can download the Decent Sampler, how it works, and where you can find some virtual instruments for it. And then I'll show you some of my personal favorites. And then finally, I will make a beat using some of these instruments and demo it at the end as well. So yeah, I'll just break down where you can find it and how to use it. So what you want to do is open up your browser and go to decentsamples.com. When you get here, you'll find this screen. Just go to Decent Sampler plugin and download for free. And then you can download whichever version you want, install it, and it'll install itself in all of your usual default VST locations. And then while you're on this website, if you also go to freebies, you'll see a range of Decent Sampler plugins as well. So these are all just stuff that's been sampled for the Decent Sampler. So you've got this box harp, which is really nice. The sonic toothbrush, which is a really unusual sort of pad sound. And there's various other things in here as well that you can download and try out, like the banjo, ukulele. And then you can also go over to pianobook.com, which I will link both of these in the description down below. And then once you get to Piano Book, if you go over to Sample Packs and then get on to Decent Sampler, it's just a list of everything that's compatible with Decent Sampler. These are all completely free, and there's all sorts of stuff in there. So if you just keep scrolling down, there's plenty of things to choose from. All sorts of weird and unusual stuff. This home office lunch break has got loads of cool percussive sounds. You've got electric piano and a Hofner. You've got loads of acoustic pianos. You can also filter it up here by whatever you are looking for in particular. So found sounds usually are the weirdest, and they have some unusual stuff. So you've got the home office, rubber band box. There's all sorts of vocal stuff and pianos and all sorts of weird things on here. So I would definitely recommend looking through these at your own leisure. But once you've downloaded the software, if you go into your DAW, you can open up a MIDI track. So I'll do a new one here. This is the template of the tracks I'm going to show you in a minute, but I'll just open up a new MIDI track, drag in the Decent Sampler, and then that's what it looks like by default. And the thing I love about this is once you've loaded a sound into it, all you have to do is click File, Load, and then find whatever it is, and then just click on it and it'll load it up. Once you've done that, they are available in the Browse section. So you can sort of scroll through the stuff that you've already opened, or they're also available in this My Libraries bit. I just click on any and it will open it up. Or you can just go over here to Sample Libraries and it's there as well. So they're all easily accessible from your DAW once you've loaded them up. And they've all got their own sort of variants and things that you can tweak and change. So what I'm going to do now is just demonstrate some of my favorites that I've downloaded so far, and then I will make a beat using these sounds as well. So I've just loaded up all of my favorite sounds for the Decent Sampler, and weirdly they sound pretty nice played at the same time. If you want some weird cinematic mix of sounds, there you go. But yeah, I'm just going to individually demonstrate what each of them are, and then I'll make a beat out of them. So starting off quickly with one that I've mentioned before in a previous video talking about some of my favorite free piano VSTs. This is the Claustrophobic Piano by Christian Henson, who was one of the founders of Spitfire Audio and also one of the founders of Piano Book. So this is a Piano Book drop, and it's, again, obviously as everything is, it's completely free. There's some variations of this depending on which mic you want to use. This is the KU100 variant. It's just got a really nice sort of warmth to it. It's quite usable compared to a lot of the other free pianos that I've tried in the past. It's not like muddy, there's no sort of harshness to it. It's not too ambient, which a lot of them can be. So it's just quite a nice sort of piano to have in your arsenal. You can change the sort of pedal and sound noise, so you can get rid of that if you want. And you can change the sort of key noise by increasing it, or just getting rid of it completely, just having pure piano. So I won't dwell too much on that one. It's a really nice piano, very usable. Get it from Piano Book, link in the description below. But yeah, just a great free one to start off with. Next up is a electric piano. This one is the Anne-Marie Horner piano. I think I'm saying that right. Horner, I don't know. Such a lush, warm, low end. You could probably even sort of filter it and use it as a bass. But yeah, another really nice piano sound. This electric piano is just fantastic, considering it's free. I personally prefer it to the Spitfire Audio Labs alternative that they have available. This one's got a lot of different things to change, so you can adjust the tone from sort of muffled to the more sort of bright. We've got a reverb control, which is quite a nice reverb. Quite a nice sort of plate sound and reverb, and then obviously you can change the attack and release if you want sort of more of a pad sound. And you've got a mix of the mechanical noise as well as the release trigger. So I'll just exaggerate them. I'll get rid of the attack. You should be able to hear it. So this is a really beautifully sampled piano. I'd definitely pay for this if it was not free. It's a great one to have again, and would highly recommend if you're looking for an electric piano, just try this first. It's free and it sounds amazing. So that's that one. Next up is another one that I got from Piano Book, and it is the Frozen Glock. So it looks like this. You've got some simple controls for tone, reverb, Glock release, and effects release. This one is a really nice soft Glock sound. You've got this here for volume and effects, so you can increase the presence of the effects. And as many of these were designed for sort of, I guess, more cinematic purposes, they are very sort of cinematic feeling, but I really like that in the context of the music I make. So more lo-fi. Quite an unusual sound, not one that I've used much in the past. So when I was doing some research for this video and downloading some new sounds, this was a new one that I came across and one that I really liked. So it's going to be featuring in more of my music. But yeah, just a nice, easy one to use. Next up is one from the Decent Samples website that I mentioned earlier, and it is the Box Harp. So as you can see from the picture, that is what it is. Quite a simple interface. You've just got some reverb. And you've got the decay control. The thing I like about this, it's got quite a nice sort of natural feel to it. So if you just sort of layer in melody into a track, it's got this sort of nice sort of ambient plucked sound, which is really good to cut through a mix in the top end, or just layer in some moody sort of harp as well. And if you're making like film related music, again, would work perfectly for that. But that was just a simple one that I thought sounded really nice, and it is free with the Decent Sampler website, so worth checking out. And next up is probably my favourite of the lot, and this is the Misty Flute. I've got the pad version opened at the moment, and this is what it sounds like. So as you can tell, there's a lot of nice texture to this. You can hear the sort of breathiness from the flute. You've got the nice decay and warmth that it brings. And if you're using it as like a pad sound, it gives it a really cool organic sound to it. You've got a few things to tweak as well. Add some reverb, which doesn't even really necessarily need. You can cut some of the frequencies. And then you've got usual attack, decay, sustain, and release. So that is definitely one that I'd recommend. It's on Piano Book. Again, links in the description for all of these. And it's just a great texture thing to have. And it's just one of those things that I like to layer into tracks when I've sort of got the main bulk of it done. Just adding texture to the track. This is a great thing to use for that. So I would highly recommend this one in particular. Next up, we've got the Sustain Pedal Perk, which is again another one from Piano Book. So this one is, I think, a mallet hitting a sustain pedal and then applied lots of effects to it. And what you get is quite a unique mallet sound with a sort of ambient afterlay. And I guess this would work really well for sort of EDM or anything where you've got these like chord stabs. But I also thought it would be nice to have like effects, delay, reverb, and sort of make some soundscapes with it, because it is a really nice, soft, yet sort of cutting through sound. So yeah, that's one I thought I would mention. In terms of controls, you've got reverb and recall and the dry and wet control. And the recall sort of controls this ambient effect that you're getting. So yeah, that's a nice one. And the last one I wanted to show you is this tenor saxophone, which again is an instrument that, just for being a free instrument, is a lot of effort has gone into getting this to sound really natural and sort of warm. I've had a lot of different saxophone VSTs, some paid for, that just didn't have any real character to them, and they sounded a little bit sort of electronic. So this has really done well with that. This one you can control all the mic levels. You've also got a tone and a reverb control. And on top of that, you've got a lot of different sounds laid at the bottom of the keyboard, which are sort of different, I guess, percussive sounds from using the sax as well. But yeah, now what I'm going to do is just get a bit of a short loop going with some of these sounds, and I'll demo that as well. This is the beat that I've made with these samples. So I've put together a bit of a demo for this one. It's shorter than my usual demos at the end of videos because I didn't get time to make a full track this week. But I think it definitely shows off its potential, which is all I was sort of trying to do with these. So I've used a few different sounds that I talked about earlier, as well as just some of my own drums. So yeah, this is the breakdown. So I've got some coffee atmos from previous sample pack. And then the first thing I've done is layer in some of the Epiano that I talked about earlier. So this one I've just layered in the bog standard setup that you get when you open it up a Decent Sampler. So I've not tweaked any of the settings except for lowering the volume a bit. And then I've also added Soothe on there to get rid of some of the muddy low end. If you've not got Soothe, you can always use some sort of multi-band compression or some EQing. But yeah, this recording was a little bit muddy, but I love the tone it gets. So once I've cleaned up a bit, it sounds perfect. And then on top of that, I layered in some of the flute that I talked about, which I really love. I used the Oliver Patrice flute in other videos, but I'm definitely going to be using this one more as well because it's got such a nice sort of attack to it and tone. It's a little bit of a delay with the attack, so you might want to sort of cue the start of the notes up a little bit early to get it to land perfectly with the beat. But yeah, sounding nice. And then again, all I've done to that is just throw on the bog standard setup out of the box and a bit of reverb. And then I've just laid in the claustrophobic piano for the lead, which again, all I've got on that is soothe and some reverb. So the soothe is just mostly around this section. It's sort of the lower mids. If I take it off, it can be a little bit harsh. Nothing major though, it's probably still usable without soothe. So that is the claustrophobic piano. And I also laid in a bass, which is again the electric piano. But I'm actually really impressed with this one because recently, if you've seen some of my videos, I downloaded the Spitfire Audio electric piano vintage keys. And one of the main things I wanted it for was a really nice warm bass that they have in there. And this is pretty much the same thing, and it's completely free. So this is just the normal electric piano. Again, I've not tweaked any of the settings, but all I've done is put a mono on there because it's not mono, and it makes it a little bit messy. So if you mono that and then cut some of the high end, then you get this nice subby bass that's not too sort of electronic and soulless. It's got a nice sort of warmth to it. And then finally, I've just laid in my usual sort of kick. I've laid in a loop from my last sample pack, as well as some hi-hats, which I just had as a loop, and a typical sort of percussive snare. But yeah, I mean, the focus really is just these decent sampler sounds. But yeah, that is the track. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this video was helpful. Please do let me know in the comments down below what you thought. But yeah, there'll be more of this to come. And then do stay tuned for the sample pack that will be out in January. It's going to have a lot of really usable lo-fi sounds. And yeah, pretty excited for this one. So there will be a competition and stuff when that drops. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.